Democrats were the ones that were for slavery. The Democrats were the ones that came up with the Jim Crow stuff.
Even if all of that were true about slavery, which party flies the Confederate flag today?
A lot of the Democrats.
You really think Democrats fly the Confederate flag
There's
more than
Democrats
Republicans?
yes.
Overwhelmingly, you'll see a Confederate flag right next to a Trump flag. That's just how it works nowadays.
I haven't seen that overwhelmingly.
You really? Was it Democrats or Republicans trying to take down Confederate statues?
Confederate statues?
Which party was trying to take down Confederate statues?
What's the statue got to do with?
You're saying that Democrats are pro-Confederate, but weren't Democrats trying to remove Confederate statues?
Why are they doing that?
Because they're anti-Confederate.
No, they're not.
Why are they trying to remove the statues then?
Because they're trying to change the history of our country. Take your camera and go interview all these black people that are here, okay?
Yeah.
And you ask them
the three black people that are here?
It's that simple line of questioning from Adam Mockler that I've rarely heard people ask conservatives that like to parrot the narrative from the Republican Party. When they say that Democrats are in favor of and celebrate slavery, completely ignoring the fact that Republicans overwhelmingly welcome people that would have called themselves Democrats during the time. Now, that guy was somehow lost in the propaganda, but many know exactly what they advocate for.
Just keep it flying.
Keep it flying? And why do you want to keep it flying?
Why would anybody want to erase our heritage?
Well, some people would say that flag symbolizes racism, it symbolizes slavery, and they might have some valid points there.
That's their opinion, they're welcome to their opinion if they want it.
Are you pro-slavery or against slavery?
I have no comment, but thank you for the interview.
I'll give you one more chance. Pro or anti-slavery?
No comment.
I'll give you one more opportunity to say if you're pro or anti-slavery.
No comment.
All right, well, there you have it. No comment on the if you're in favor of slavery or not.
That MAGA man is engulfed in the bigotry and alternate realities that he's been fed to maintain the false concept of his superiority. If he admits that he's jazzed about his heritage of slavery, along with the mission to keep that heritage alive, he'd also have to openly admit that he's in favor of the systematic selling, separating, mutilation, vicious mistreatment that was normal policy in this country. And one thing that conservatives in this country can't do is admit that we have a very dark history that isn't as old as they'd like us to believe. So they come up with these fairy tales to absolve us from the inhumane system that this country's prosperity was built off of.
The Civil War was something that no one could do anything about because the whites, quote unquote, whites from the South are not the only ones that had slaves. Slaves are all over the world. Slaves still exist today.
Do you think there's a direct effect from slavery to how black Americans are able to live today?
No, I don't. They have a chance to learn. They live in the best country in the world. If they open their eyes and listen, instead of just focusing on their little area and people that they hang out with, they would learn a lot.
But from what you said, it sounds like you were born before the civil rights movement.
Oh, yeah.
So black people couldn't buy houses in your lifetime when you were maybe a baby.
I'm well aware of that.
You were 5. So you don't think there's any downstream effect?
I felt oppressed at that time.
Yeah.
But that's what Martin was trying to correct.
Really makes you wonder if Martin and countless other civil rights leaders corrected the things that she supports before or after he was murdered. These folks can't admit that our system created and still creates barriers between certain people and the American dream that we brag about. Because if they did, they'd have to let go of that belief that white people are simply superior to black, indigenous, and Latino folks.
Right now, I see so many people living off the government handout.
I'm pretty sure welfare use per capita is higher in red states than blue states.
Yes, but there's so many people living off of the government handouts. And that is not that much farther away from slavery. They were a slave. They were given housing, food, clothing, medical care. The people asked them to work. Yes, there were landowners that were violent and mean to some of them, but there were others that were humanist.
Endless falsehoods on top of painting some kind of humane image of a system that forced other humans to work their entire lives at the risk of being brutally murdered. Murders that were sanctioned by the authorities in this country. It's the only way these folks can openly reminisce about the beauty of slavery in America is for them to dehumanize the people that were the victims. It's done so seamlessly that they don't even realize just how much they eliminated enslaved people from a conversation about freedom in this country.
You know, I'm sure it wasn't easy for those guys that died in the Revolutionary War, and I'm sure
Nothing,
it was
but I think that they probably fought for.
the least that you can do is show up and vote for people that have died. So no, I don't buy that. That to me is a joke. If you care about freedom, if you care about
Did they care about freedom?
absolutely, they died for it.
They were slave owners.
Oh my gosh! So you know,
No, I'm asking. That's
you
why.
really want to know who the original slave owners are? I mean, let's talk about the human condition.
I'm just asking. So like out of one side, you're saying, and I understand what you're saying. They believed in
Slave
freedom.
owners even get into this.
Well, because freedom. That's what I'm talking about. They believed in freedom. I mean, we're in Charleston, right?
Yeah.
This was the biggest port in America at that time for the slave trade. So I'm asking, when you say that they believed in freedom, you know, it's a little hypocritical historically, is it not?
Absolutely. Have you read history?